Okay, guys, I'm doing some research on a new bullet for the new California law that's going to kick in next year, and I said might as well start doing the research now and get the bullet that you're going to be using from now on. So I have a selection here of different bullets. I'll give you the list. The Barnes, I'm going to go with Barnes TTSX in a 150, 165, or 168 grain. The Nosler AccuBond. The AccuBond, I'm kind of curious about it. The AccuBond has a metallic interior. It's they call them tandium lead or something, but I put it in there anyways. The Nosler E-tip, 150, 168 grain. This is also all copper bullet. And the Hornet GMX in 150 and 165 grain. And what I did is I put it on the calculator, shot it, and look at the trajectory at 500 to 600 feet, yards, I mean. And some of these mix are with IMR powder or Varget. So let's see. This one here, the Nosler E-tip, 168 grain. Bullet coefficiency is 0.475. Velocity is 2,700 feet. Altitude, put it at 7,500. Temperature 59, humidity 50. And speed of sound 1116. I don't think that matters. So here we go at the 500 yard to 600, because that's roughly the yardage that I'm looking at. The performance is pretty flat up to 300, and then it starts dropping. So 500 feet, 500 yards, I keep saying feet. 500 yards, it's 53 inches, 88. 600 yards is 86 inches, 19. And then on the way back, I'm going to talk about the energy. Okay, the Nosler E-tip, 150 grain. This was the E-tip, 168. So the following is the 50 grain. Ballistic coefficiency is 469. Speed velocity out the muzzle 2937. And this one drops 44 inches. This is pretty good. 44 inches at 500 feet, 71 inches at, I'm sorry, I keep saying feet. 500 yards, and 600 yards at 7120. Followed by the Hornet GMX 150 grain, 4486. Now these two are pretty close at 500 yards. The Hornet E-tip 4437. The the Nosler E-tip 4437. The Hornet GMX 4486 at 500 yards. Then followed by the Hornet GMX 165 grain, it drops 4967 at 500 yards. And then the TTSX 150 grain, it's 4921 at 500 yards. The Barnes TTX 165 grain, it's 52 inches at 500 yards. And the Barnes TTX 168 grain is 55.003 at 500 yards. Now looking at the right side at energy, this one is putting out at 500 yards 1423, velocity 1953. That's pretty fast. Then the 165 Barnes is putting out 1464 energy, 1999 velocity. The TTX 150 grain is putting out 1364 energy and 2024 velocity. That's pretty fast. Then the Hornet GMX 165 is putting out 1609 pounds. The velocity is 2096. The Hornet GMX 150 is 1614 energy, 2201 velocity. Excuse me. And the Nosler E-tip, this is the flattest one. It puts out 1653 energy, 2227 foot per pound per foot velocity, feet per foot. I mean, 2227 velocity. That's very fast. And the E-tip 168 grain, 1543, 2033 velocity. And here's the graph that shows you the trajectory, and you can see the blue here. It's above everybody, which is this one, the 150 E-tip, and I think that's the one I'm gonna buy. And the reason I was doing this is because I was considering loading the 168 grain or the 165 to have a little more kick and energy. But the result is that I'm getting the kick. He's getting the energy. So let's go down to the 160 right here, 165. This one is sending out 1,609 pounds versus the 150, 1,653 pounds. So the 150, even though it's lighter than the 165, it's putting out more energy, and of course it's putting out more speed, foot per second. So let's see, the next one would be the TTX is putting out 1464. So it's 200 below, around 200 below, 140 below the other ones. And the 168, it's 1424, so it's still the lowest one. So as far as energy and trajectory, the 168 grain does not do it. It's giving you here 55 inches below, drop, 688 at 600. I mean, that's a lot. That's 1/3. Then this one has 84. This one, the 150 TTX goes to 80. And then the Hornet GMX goes to 79. The GMX 150 goes to 72. That's a big reduce here. And the 150 Nosler E-tip is 7120. I think I'm going to start loading the Nosler E-tip. I was looking at the Barnes. Barnes got very good reputation and performance, but it's dropping. These two are pretty close. The Hornady GMX and the Barnes. Look at this. Hornady is 4967. The Barnes is 4967. Yeah, and 4921. The Barnes beats the Hornady, but it's because it's lighter. This is 150 grain. This is 165 grain. You got to do apples to apples. So now I looked at my reloading book and also at the Hudgens, the Varget, and the Bowders measure, they differ a little bit. So the Hornady GMX has 2812 foot per second at the muzzle. The Barnett has 2900. That's why it's a little flatter. The Hornet GMX 150 has 2937, and this is according to the Varget catalog. I have it here. Stop it, boy. He's ready to go out. And the trajectory is 4486. Drop at 500. The Nosler is 2737 also, and it's a little flatter. Not by much. 4437 versus 4486. So all of that has to do, with the amount of powder and the kind of powder you put in it. The E-tip 168 grain, let me see, energy wise, it's 1543, 1653. Now, It's 100 less, exactly 100 less. The 168 grain, it's a longer bullet. The coefficient, it's 475 versus 469. And the Hornady is 451, the GMX 150. The Hornady GMX 165 is 451, same. Wait a minute, it shouldn't be the same. I think that's a mistake. I gotta go on the website and double check on that. Let me see my notes here. 160, 165 Hornady. 165 Hornady. Oh no, yeah, it's supposed to be 447. So let's make a quick change on that. Go up here and find the Hornady 160. 165. It's supposed to be 168. Let me go down there and look again. Yeah, 165. Okay. So it's there. So we're going to change the ballistic coefficient to, according to my notes, 447. 47. Save it. Update it. And let me make sure we don't have two of the same, because sometimes it repeats it. Hornady. Actually, I only have one Hornady. Okay. Should have two. Yeah, I got two. All right. So, and let me remove the 600 and just make it 500 yards because it's a little less confusing. And then shoot this puppy. Bingo bango. All right. Now we have a little bit of a difference here. So the Hornady's 150. Okay, 151, 447. All right, the drop at 500 yard is 49.80 versus 44.86. So even though the powder measure is, well, the ballistic coefficient is less and the powder measure is less. The foot per second is less. So of course it's going to drop more. So I'm leaning towards a 150 grain instead of the 160 or 165 or 168. And the main reason is that I'm shooting this out of a 20-inch barrel, and this thing kicks like a mule if I start using heavier bullets. So all these are copper, except the Nosler Accubon. Let's see where the Accubon is. Wait a minute. Barnes. How many barns do I have? 1, 2. Yeah, I got 3 barns. 1 Hornady. 2 Hornadys. Nosler, E-tip. Oh, wait a minute. Where's the GMX? Oh, here it is. GMX 150. Oh, you know what? I don't think I put the Nosler Accubon in there. Let me check the listing, make sure. E-tip. No. I don't think it's in there. So the Accubon is the one that has lead, and I said, well, why bother if I can't use it? I'm not going to calculate anything because it's a waste of my time. So there you go, guys. For you guys that need to buy copper bullets in California, the glorious state of California, which they're so what do they call themselves? Advanced or progressive, so some bull like that. And I just saw a legislation a meeting that they had, and they passed a new law. There's always a new law And this new law says that in California, by the year, I think it's next year, chickens cannot be in cages. Chickens have to be free range. So they'd be legal in California. And I imagine that they won't allow eggs from other states if the chickens are in cages. Some nonsense like that. Right now, they have another law that says that chickens need 145 square inches of space to be happy chickens in California. So I'm thinking, okay, you have a chicken farm, you're going to have the chickens roaming around. Guess who's going to have a field day? It's going to be the fox, the raccoons, the coyotes. They're going to have chicken and eggs every morning. They're going to wipe them out. I don't know how they're going to do this. I really don't know. These people just come up with these stupid, idiotic, nonsensical laws because the chicken's going to be happier when you kill it because it roam free than it's still being in a big barn, because they're not in individual cages. They probably think they are. They are in open barns. I know they're crowded. I've seen the videos. It's a shame that's the way it is, but that's the way the industry works. So yeah, it's a beautiful new law in California. All right, guys. So have a good one finding your bullet. I did a lot of research. I've been looking at this for weeks, and I'm going to start hand loading my stuff, and then I'll do a video when I shoot it and see how it does. All right, guys, on the next one.